this week, they announced that there's a new video game, Borderlands 4, coming out, and all the talk in the video game world these days is this impending price increase.
Yeah.
Game companies say, but guys, games have been $60 since the 90s. We need to increase the price. But they conveniently forget that when they were $90 or $60 in the 90s, we got the complete game. And we got the game bug-free. And we owned the game forever.
And those games were better.
And they were better.
For the most part, yeah.
And nowadays, you pay $60 for a game. They've stripped a section out of the game to sell it back to you as DLC, or they sell you cosmetics, or they sell you expansion packs, or they sell you season passes. The idea that these companies are quote unquote only getting $60 for a game is insane. They're selling merch that they just didn't exist back then. They're selling their licensing for TV shows and movies.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous and absurd for these guys to be like, but we're still charging $60. So Borderlands 4, very popular franchise, Borderlands, is coming out later this year, I think. And
I think so, yeah.
A customer basically said, like, hey, ask the CEO of the company, please don't tell me this game's going to be $80. Because that's what these game companies have been pushing for the past couple years, trying to get people ready for it. And his response was, if you're a real fan, you'll find a way to make it happen. My local game store had Starflight for Sega Genesis for $80 in 1991 when I was just out of high school working minimum wage at an ice cream parlor in Prismo Beach, and I found a way to make it happen. This is the CEO of the company.
These companies, like, they start to feel like they're celebrities, and you're so fortunate and lucky that you had the opportunity to buy our game. Instead of trying to actually appeal to the consumer, they're just like, oh, we're going to bless you with the opportunity to spend $80 on our game. And if you're a real fan, you'll do it. Guess what? I ain't no real freaking fan of this crap, especially since Borderlands 3 sucked.
Borderlands 3 did suck. 2 was good. 3 was not good.
I liked 1
and the movie was terrible.
I liked 2. Borderlands 3 sucked. So at this point, instead of, if you're a real fan, you'll do it. How about you try to make people a fan after you done goofed with the last game and with the movie, and you dropped the ball with that kind of stuff? How about you try to bring people back in?
So is part of the cost analysis for this, like, they have enough real fans to make the money back at $80? They feel like, I mean, you guys have both said this to me, like, there's a price point where you won't buy the game. You'll wait, you'll see if it's worth it later. Like, it seems like a gamble to me, but I guess if it's the fourth edition of this game, like, they kind of know how many people are going to buy it. What's the calculation?
This could backfire on them. Look what happened with the last Doom game. It's not meeting expectations.
It's not doing well because the previous one wasn't good. That's part of it too.
Yeah, a lot of people did have a lot of complaints about Doom Eternal. I thought it was fun, but I'm not a huge Doom expert or anything like that. But yeah, so there, and I think that the price point was like $70 or something like that too.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how this works out, but I think that it could very well backfire on them. I think especially in this position, a lot of people are very skeptical about this next game because the last one was bad and because the movie was bad. So if you're gonna drop a game with a higher price point, it's better to do that at your prime when people are like, "Oh, this is going to be great." Something like GTA can probably get away with it.
They're gonna do it. Yeah.
When you're already on a bit of a downward trajectory, I think it's dumb.
Well, he came out and said, well, so he answered this question. He said, guys, the budget for Borderlands 4 is double what it was for Borderlands 3.
Sounds like a you problem, bro. Because look at what Claire Obscure Expedition 33 did. Their budget was tiny compared to these gigantic games, and they were able to sell the game for more
$40.
Yeah, for $40. And the game is incredible and better than anything we've seen in AAA in a long time. So it sounds like a skill issue. And instead of making the consumer bail you out for your money management issues, get good.
Yeah, that's
It does
my
seem like
reply.
nobody asked for the budget to be higher. That's a weird justification.
Well, that's it. It's like
$300 million games. Why do you need to spend $300 million on making a game? What the heck?
do you think this is because these people think they're Hollywood, like Melonie said?
Yeah.
Did having Keanu Reeves voice Johnny Silverhand, or whatever his name was, in Cyberpunk make that game better?
Right.
No. Did having the actor that plays Daryl as the character in the what was that game? The FedEx delivery game?
It's a walking simulator.
Yeah,
I forgot
Walking
what
Simulator,
it's
Death
even
Stranding.
called. Yeah, I refuse to play that.
Yeah. Did paying a Hollywood guy make Death Stranding better? No.
Mm-mm.
These people are just spending money because they can. And Melanie put it right. That is a you problem.
Yep.
Look, and by the way, let's stop acting like you don't have a million flippin' expansions that you get to charge us more money for down the road, which they do. Borderlands notoriously has a million expansions that they'll sell you for another $20, $30. And like, this is a gamble. Yes, the hardcores will buy it for 80, but people like me who would have waited for it to be on sale on Steam probably won't even buy it.
Yeah.
Because for me to spend more than $40 on a game, it's got to be a banger. Like, it's got to be like Melanie Mac approved. It's got to be like, you know what I mean? It's got to be like the toast of the town. And even then, FOMO, the gaming industry killed FOMO.
Yep.
FOMO used to be a thing where you would have lines around the block for releases of games. Their greed killed it. The idea that I can't just wait for a Steam sale, the Steam summer sale, and get your game for $8. Like, I am not missing anything by not playing Borderlands 4 immediately when it comes out. Nothing. So why would I pay $80?
And there's just such a huge selection of incredible games that came out over all of this time that you can get for dirt cheap on Steam right now. Last weekend or the weekend before, I beat Alice in Madness Returns. That game's $2.50 on a Steam sale. It's like incredible game that came out in 2011. It's like, why would I be spending $80 on this Borderlands game when the last one was trash and I don't even know if I'm going to like this one, when I can play some of these amazing classics that I didn't get a chance to play to the first time around because we actually had a lot of good games to choose from, and you can get them for cheap.
Well, they also, you could buy 30 games for $80 on Steam. Yeah. I've been playing TCG Shop Simulator, which was $12. And you just run your own card shop and you like level up and like
how fun.
It's fun, but it was $12 and I have like 30 hours into it already. Like now it is, graphically pretty poor, but it's still like a fun game that is getting better every day. By the way, for free, they're adding stuff to the game. And like, why I might consider it was like with Far Cry. I always go back to Far Cry. Yes, I loved Far Cry 5, but I also paid $5 or $10 for it. If I had paid $60 for it on day one and played that bug infested mess, would I have loved it? No. I got it for $5 and I'm like, I played it years after everyone else. And I was like, oh, this game's actually pretty dope. I like this game. And like, it just does not, I don't have FOMO anymore. I'll play your game when I get to it. And if I never play it, my life will be fine. And I think that's a lot of gamers because there's just so many options now.
Do you think that the gaming industry cares? Like, it seems like they're kind of operating with a certain amount of arrogance, that they're basically expecting you to, even if you're mad about it in the beginning, like give in and buy the $80 game.
Well, the problem is gamers will. That's enough of them will pay $80 to justify it. Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. I'm curious about this one. This one, it could be.
It's going to be 70. I bet.
I could see it possibly flopping. I could see it possibly flopping. I don't have a definitive opinion on that yet, but
they've sold like honestly, 100 million copies across all their games. There's a huge fan base.
where there's definitely this attitude that they don't care, but eventually they're going to have to care, because you do see a lot of these companies getting shut down left and right, layoffs happening out the wazoo, and then we see Expedition 33, which really could change the gaming industry.
Did they even run an ad? I never even saw an ad for that game. No ad budget.
I know they didn't have
Just
this.
Put out a great game and everyone loves it.
And it has been selling like hotcakes with a very small budget. And the thing is, though, is the quality is. I would have thought, oh, compared to these $200 million games, surely Expedition 33 with like a way smaller budget isn't going to be as vast, or the graphics aren't going to be as good, or this or that. Instead, you've got better gameplay, you've got better graphics, you've got better huge environments than almost any modern game out there right now. So it's like, okay, here you have this groundbreaking, incredible game that was cheap to make compared to something like this. So I really
well, you know
think
what, Melonie, too? Sorry to interrupt. You do this too. So when I bought it, because I was so sure that the game was so good, I bought the $60 version.
I did that.
Yeah,
I did
see,
the same
yeah.
thing.
I'm like, I want to
did.
support it. I want to support this game.
Yep.
So I bought the $60 version. And I don't even know how much better it is than the $40 version.
It's just you get some skins and things like that. It's funny because I like tried the skins on the characters, and I was like, I want to stick with the base skins though, because it's keeping the immersion for me to have the base skins. But it's like, oh, you know, I'm still happy to support the game.
Yeah, isn't that funny? We both did like.
Yep.
So they got the 60 anyway. Because we're like, the game is good. I want to support this game being good. I was like, there's something. I'll pay the 60. I'll buy the definitive edition.
Yeah.
Because I want the game to be a success.
Exactly.
When I buy Call of Duty, I always buy the base version. And I know buying it is bad enough, but like I buy the base version because I don't care about it the same way I do, Claire Obscure, where it's going to be like a game I'm going to remember forever. Like a new Dragon Quest game comes out, I'll probably, well, no, because that'll still be $60 or $70. But like, there's an A/B test here that they could put this game out for $50 and then sell a super mega collector's edition for $100 for their like diehard fans, and probably win both sides. You know, if you add enough value. Sorry to cut you off, Hannah Claire. If you add enough value, like when Final Fantasy, what was the latest one? 16, 17?
16.
I bought the stupid premium edition with the statue. And that was like $300 or something like that. But I'm like, look, people can make fun of me, but everyone's got their thing. You got your Tomb Raider. I got Final Fantasy. People will have Borderlands. You're always going to have a chunk of people who are going to be like, I love this game. Give me the most expensive thing you have. And they could, like, Borderlands could do that. They could put together like some cool statues, cool shit that their hardcores love, and sell their game for $60 and win. And like, but they won't do that because they're too afraid.
Yep.
Is there like an impulse purchase level? Like if to me, okay, obviously like, I don't play this game, I know nothing, but I'm curious to see y'all's reaction to this price being like 80 is too high. Is there a company in the video game industry that is only selling games at what you would deem like an impulse purchase? Like Melonie said, she played a game that was like $3, right? Like, is there a company that only sells video games? There may be, like Jeremy said, not the best graphics or they don't have as many skins or whatever, but they're all like $20. Does anybody do that? Or is it all like everyone is climbing the higher and higher price point?
Most companies, I mean, there are, but the way the video game industry works is most companies are responsible for like one game. When you get to like the huge companies, they might be responsible for 2 or 3. So there aren't any like one company that's pumping out $10 games. But what you have is people like Melonie and I who will, mark things, put things on our Steam wish list. Steam is like a store where you can buy all these games. And there's a million different publishers inside this store. It's like going to Walmart, but if Walmart only sold video games. You can sort by price. You can sort. When I see a game that I want to see, I put it on my wish list when I want to play. I'm like religious about putting it on my wish list. Yeah. And then when I want a game, I go through my wish list. I'm like, what's on sale? What's like $10? because I wanted this, and now it's on sale. There's a whole bunch of gamers that have now started to get good at just waiting.
Yeah.
And so to answer your question, not really. There are like indies are generally cheaper. Like most indie games are going to be, what do you say, Mel, 20, 30?
Right. Yeah.
Like
around that range.
So yeah. So in that way, indies exist. I'm sure they would love to get $60 for their games, but they just can't. So in that way, there are indies, I suppose.
It just makes me wonder, like, with rising costs of prices or whatever else, like, is there a point where people will be like, I am just losing interest in whether it's this game series or just the industry in general because you're being priced out from it?
That's
but
$80.
then you guys both said, like, eventually they'll give in and buy the game.
Well, $80 is that number. We finally hit it.
I'm not. Yeah, that's the thing is, I ain't paying $80 for
never
most
pay
games.
80.
Like, I just don't see that happening. I'll wait for a sale, or there might be an extremely rare exception of a game that I would do that for.
Like a Tomb Raider Definitive Edition with a statue.
Right.
Like you're paying $80 for more than just the game.
Exactly.
There are hardcores, like Madden has snuck up in price, that like they'll just buy it every year. But I think that threshold is $80, Santa Clara. Like that's people have said, the great $80 video game war has begun.
Yeah.
And
It's like
GTA can do it, sure.
Right. But most games I don't think can. And we have, I mean, already as it stands, as it has been, older games are being played more than modern games. Like people are buying older games more and playing them more. So especially with being priced out, that's just because the new games have sucked. Well, now that they're trying to add the prices higher too, this is just, we have plenty of games to choose from.
There's at least 1,000.
No shortage of great games that from the past. So
a lot of them are from an era before video game companies felt like they had to put out a new version every year. All these games, like, Oblivion came back out and everyone's like, oh my God, it's so good. Yeah, that's because when they originally made it, they didn't try to pump it out in 6 months.
Right.
But now once they become these franchises, it's like, we need a new Assassin's Creed every year. We need a new Call of Duty every year. And so it's impossible to like really put in the time on these games. So people are gravitating back to an era when companies did. Like, I bet you Fable holds up great. How old is that game? 30 years old? You know what I mean?
I started playing Fable again not that long ago too.